Hello, friends, and welcome into Talking Sports at Work at Home edition. Today's Wednesday, April the 17th. I am your host, Eric Persley, and we're doing something a little different here today. Um, in part because I just felt like I needed to do something productive today. It's my day off, and I mean, I've accomplished some things, but I didn't feel like I'd accomplished enough, so I planned on doing an episode today. And plus, I'm always just trying to find ways to make this interesting, so I'm mixing it up a little bit today. And I have a special thing for today. As you can see, it's not just the usual, me in the camera. And I also realized I hadn't done an episode that was like just like a regular episode of me at home talking sports, um, other than the mock draft in a long time. We've done a lot of episodes with the kids, playing video games and doing the dance parties and whatever. And Jimmy Butler is hurt, and that is not good. Oh, it looks like he just banged knees with that other dude. He's okay. I think. I hope. I don't know. I don't know. Looks like he might still be down. But anywho, as some of you know, fans of the show or people who know me, the other day yeah, he's limping. I was in my shed 2 weeks ago, and I was looking for some summer clothes for the kids, and I opened one of these boxes, and this little white face pops out. Man, I mean, scared the shit out of me. And I dropped the box, and we had at one point we actually had some rats out there in that shed, so I guess maybe that was what popped into my head, or just an animal face pops up at you. Anyway, it freaks you out. But I immediately realized that that's either a giant rat, or well, that's obviously a cat. So I flipped the box back over because the box flipped on its top. So I flipped the box back over to let the cat get out. The cat pops up, jumps out, and runs out the door. And yeah, I think that's that. But then I look down in the box, and this is what I find. These precious little baby kittens in there in my shed. And so that's one of the things I've been dealing with over the last 2 weeks is now I have kittens. I started this episode with sort of this format to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look at like here's my notes and stuff, but I decided I wanted to start it off with the kittens because something interesting happened. So yeah, let's go. There's my Jackie boy. Um, but yeah, so this is the mama cat. She's friggin' beautiful. Like she is some sort of, I don't know cats, but she's something. She's some sort of fancy house cat, which it didn't occur to me until just today. But I think I'm gonna post some stuff, which I've already posted stuff online, like showing people the kittens. But I might need to like post something saying lost cat just in case because she's clearly somebody's cat. Anyway. This is us just over these last couple of weeks with them. I let the kids name one each, and I still don't know their genders because I'm not good at telling that with cats. But that's Tiger. Arlo named that one Tiger. Jack named that one Puffy Ball. And Sissy named hers Elsa, but she's still afraid to hold them. She's got a thing about animals. She's never been good with animals. But here she is. This is about as much as she'll do with them. Is she'll reach in the box and pet them, and she does love going to see them and going to pet them, but she just doesn't want to hold them yet. And well, this is our fishing trip the other day too. Me and Jackie boy, his little fish. This was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a cat and fish theme here or something. But yeah, we had a lot of fun on this trip. And there's my handsome little guy with his feet in the water. Here's Sis again, as close as she will get to the kitties. But they're growing, and oh, look at the little baby. And the mama cat has really warmed up to Jack. I named her Princess Rhaenyra, by the way. And then here we are. This was just yesterday, or was this 2 days ago? I don't know. This has been within the last couple of days. It was the first time I'd actually gotten them out of the box and put them on the grass. I felt like they need to get out because I've just left them in the shed this whole time. I haven't known what to do, but I felt like eventually there was a very real chance that I was going to end up bringing them in the house, even though I don't want more animals. I've said I can't handle more animals. Like can't handle more living creatures. Like I love Itchy over here. Itchy, come here. I love him, but I've been saying like when he's gone, I'm not getting another animal. But I'm weak when it comes to animals, especially baby animals. And so anyway, look at that. So this is today. I went to the store and I bought a litter box and I bought a flea comb and some flea spray to spray around the area because I saw one flea on one the other day. Um, but I went through them. I sat down there for an hour brushing the mom and going through the kittens with the flea comb. Did not see a single flea, so hopefully we're good on that front. But this is going to be their new temporary home for the time being, and it was just so precious seeing them interact because I'd never actually seen the mama interact with them before. She's always either hiding when we come out there, and then when we feed her, she comes out to eat and she'll let you pet her. But I'd never seen her actually like interact with her kittens before, and it was so precious to see it happening downstairs. Um, and I don't know, I'm narrating, I'm saying something. Oh yeah, because two of the kittens kept coming and snuggling up to me. I guess they've really warmed up to me, which is sweet. So I'm putting them over there. I'm saying, hey, your mommy's over here. And so there they are. And I gave her a really good brushing, and she loved that, by the way. And once she warms up to you, she's a very affectionate cat, as it turns out, and she loves to be brushed. And I got like a pound of hair off of her, it seemed like. Excuse me. And so, she's all nice and clean, and now here she is cleaning and feeding her babies, and it was just so sweet to see them interacting this way. And anyway, I don't know if you guys care about this. I don't know. This is obviously not sports related, but, half the shit I talk about on here is not either, so oh well. But this is just so cute. I mean, this is wonderful. Look at the kitties. And so anyway, that's the one, and then here was the other one when they actually started like eating. I just had to get a little video of it because I don't think I've ever seen baby kittens nursing before. So I did that, and I've got their whole little setup. I think I'm going to show it. Yeah, here's the box where I've got the blankets for the kittens. They're going to sleep in there. There's mommy's litter box, mommy's food and water. Um, so this is going to be their home for, at least the next little while. I don't know if I've been leaning out of the shot for part of this because I keep leaning over to see the video. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know if you guys can actually hear me narrate in the video because I've got the AirPods in, but I'm just talking about basically saying the same things I was saying already. But yeah, these are the kittens. These are Princess Rhaenyra and her tiger and Elsa and Puffy Ball, which I come to find out I think Elsa is actually a boy. I think I'm still not sure, but I think the two gray ones are boys and the black one is a girl, I think. But again, it's tough to tell with cats, especially when they're that young, I guess. So yeah, I'm still not sure. But anywho, that was my last few minutes, and I don't know. I'm letting them rest right now. They got their tummies full. I put them back in their box. Mommy's resting. So, but maybe I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll go down there and take a peek on them, or maybe I'll do an Instagram live thing. We'll go take another peek on them here in a minute. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, it is at HDW Pursley. It's my initials and my last name, at HDW Pursley on Twitter, on Instagram, on all that stuff. So follow me on there. We might do a little live check-in with the kittens here at some point. But anywho, we will, I think, talk some sports maybe. And again, I was going to give you guys just sort of a behind-the-scenes look at what I do here. I normally am not comfortable sharing my screen, but I thought, what the hell? I make sure there's nothing ugly on here for you guys. Just hopefully not that I'll stumble on. But so look, here are my notes. This is going back like all since I've been doing the show. I've kept this same Google Docs notes. Yeah, I mean, you see here going back to November and before. And I used to start off the show, the podcast at least, with my TMI segment, and I would keep ideas for that up here. I haven't been doing it much lately, but that's something that's kind of hard to explain. Maybe one day I will. My top three movies, I thought about just doing that one day. I might have actually done that, but I don't know. If you're interested, it's The Departed is number one. I think the Return of the King, the Lord of the Rings Return of the King is probably number two. Followed by The Dark Knight at number three, with probably an honorable mention to Fight Club and Hereditary. But yeah, so there's that. Anyway, these are just the notes that I make at certain points through the day, and like think that I might want to talk about them on the show. So you see here, I didn't know Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers now. I thought that was interesting when I heard it. I heard that they were talking about something else on the radio, but they just mentioned Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman apparently living in RVs still. Close to each other, and I thought that was interesting because obviously they've got the connection. They've been to a Super Bowl together, but from Greg Roman's made his name with quarterbacks not very much like Justin Herbert, and so I'll be interested to see how that's going to work. Now I think before that maybe he coached more traditional quarterbacks. Maybe he coached Alex Smith. I don't know. But he's made his name over the last decade or so with Colin Kaepernick and Lamar Jackson. So we'll see how that works out. I just thought that was interesting. And then you see I've got James Pierce here on the list because something really cool. I just happened to look, I think it was yesterday, at a CBS Sports list of the top 100 college football players, or I guess returning college football players for this upcoming year. And they had Travis Hunter as number one, which was not surprising to me. But then at number two, James Pierce, edge rusher from Tennessee. I mean, I love him. I know he's outstanding, but I didn't think he was like nationally recognized as being, that great. I mean, if he's considered to be the number two player at that position, in the country and a premium position, we're talking about, a guy who's going to be a top five pick in the draft maybe next year. So especially, if he continues to develop. So I just thought that was super cool. We also had some interesting stuff happening in the transfer portal. We lost Elijah Herring, which was disappointing, but at the same time, I'm not going to get worked up about that because the guy who was really expected to be our number one inside linebacker was injured for most of last year, and I think he's going to be back healthy. He's that transfer from Utah or Oregon. Hell, I can't remember his name, but we'll be fine at linebackers. And that defensive front, another guy who was on the list was Norman Lott, was also in the top 100 players. So that defensive front is going to be fierce. And it sucks that Byron Young was another transfer. I really liked him, or not Byron Young. Who was it? The other one that transferred. I don't know, the other edge rusher. He transferred to Ole Miss. That was a disappointment, but that front is still going to be fierce. And I imagine he transferred because James Pierce is a superstar, and because we've got some big time recruits coming in at that position as well, and guys, moving up and getting, going to be getting some more playing time. So yeah, we're going to be looking good on a lot. This is probably going to be the best defense Josh Heupel has had. Got a hopefully superstar young quarterback coming in, and those receivers looked excellent, much better than last year in the orange and white game. Now, there's only so much you can really take away from that, but from what we saw, what's his name could actually hold the ball, actually catch the ball, and wasn't dropping it. The guy who was supposed to be the big transfer from last year, Dante Thornton. Chris Braswell, that Tulane transfer, looked excellent. Mike Matthews, the five-star freshman coming up, looked excellent. Nimrod looked wonderful. I mean, that receiving group looked as good as good of a group that we've had. And I don't even think Squirrel White was playing. This is going to be maybe the best receiving group we've had, maybe in a long time, even including the Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, because that group, and not to mention Brew McCoy is going to be coming back this year. This is going to be an elite receiving and a deep receiving core. And a five-star superstar quarterback to throw the ball. Some exciting young running backs coming up, and most of the same offensive line we had last year, adding the adding the number one offensive lineman in the transfer portal, the guy from LSU, who I guess is going to be playing left tackle for us. So an improved offensive line, an outstanding and that's definitely improved receiving core, and a young superstar quarterback that the expectations are through the roof, and a duo of good running backs, including Samson and that other one that I really liked at the end of last year. he was a bigger guy, kind of a thumper. I can't remember his name, but I think he's going to play a big role. So the offense is looking good. The defense is looking good. It's very, very exciting. And there are going to be lots of spots for the playoffs this year. So there's a very real chance that Tennessee is going to be playing for a national championship. Even if it's not in the national championship game, there's a very real chance that the Vols will be getting an opportunity to play for a national championship next year and in the playoffs. You got to think that we're one of the top 12 teams in the country. And yeah, but we've also got some stiffer competition coming in this year. We've got Oklahoma. I think we're playing at Oklahoma this year. I'm not going to go through the whole schedule. We'll save that for another day. But yeah, some exciting things on Rocky Top. This I just put Bill in, and normally I wouldn't go through these all in order just like this. I'm just doing it now, but because I'm actually showing you guys behind the scenes what I'm doing, so just kind of giving you like, here are my thoughts on these things. Bill and Bob and Blank. What this was about was there was this article on ESPN about how things sort of went with the Bill Belichick interviews with the Falcons, which if you haven't, I'm not going to get into it. It's really wasn't much new in there, but it was still pretty interesting to read the specifics and what was said, what was possibly said, how things went, and anyway, it was very interesting. And turns out Bill Belichick is now going to be doing draft coverage on the Pat McAfee draft special this year, so that's interesting. We'll move on from that. In the NBA, Lakers did what they needed to do to get into the playoffs. Now, I know everybody was thinking they would probably be better off losing this one and ended up with the eighth seed, but they were never going to tank the game, and they also really could use the extra rest given the age of LeBron and AD and their injury history and everything. They could use these extra 2, 3 days, and it's definitely not a given that they would have beaten Sacramento, or it could have been Golden State. We didn't know at that point. In a one-game elimination game, it was just never a realistic thing that they were going to do that. It was possible that the Pelicans would beat them, but I talked about this in the episode, the podcast episode, the day of or the day before this. The Lakers were an underdog. They were like a 1 point underdog going into that game. It made no sense. They had wiped the floor with the Pelicans every time they played them this year, and including as recent as a couple days prior. And they were even money on the money line and like a 1 point underdog, and I was that close, but I didn't put any money on it because I've said I'm not trying to outsmart the odds makers. Those guys are friggin' wizards. They know things that no one else knows. I don't know what it is they know here, but I'm not taking a chance on it. I'm not trying to outsmart them here. It seemed like, I don't know why, it made no sense, and now we see it ended up being a very close game. And if Zion Williamson had not gotten hurt right there towards the end of the fourth quarter, I mean, he had just tied it up there. He scored 40 points. They were coming, and if that had not happened, I mean, the Lakers really might have lost that game. And that brings me to the next point here, which is, well, that's actually not what Lakers versus Denver. We'll see. I mean, if you're a Lakers fan, which I'm still kind of a leftovers Laker fan, I was a Kobe fan. And then when he retired, I was sort of lost. Now I'm just sort of split between Lakers and Grizzlies. But the Grizzlies are horrible this year, and so I'm still with the Lakers, which I root for them both. But I mean, honestly, they can beat the Nuggets, but there's not a lot of. I'm not going to be betting on them to beat the Nuggets. I mean, it's just Denver's so ridiculous, and Jokic is just. I've never seen anything like him. It's absurd, and it's ridiculous because it's not like a Patrick Mahomes or a Derrick Rose or John Morant. We've never seen this sort of crazy athleticism or a guy who can do these kind of things. This dude is just playing basic, fundamental, incredible basketball on a level no one else ever has in history. Like, he's just playing the game exactly the way you would want a guy to play the game and doing things a guy his size normally could not do, especially as a distributor and a playmaker. And it's not exciting, it's not highlight reel stuff, but it's just ridiculously effective. And the Lakers, you thought going into that matchup last year that Anthony Davis, former Defensive Player of the Year, could give him some trouble. Nope, that did not happen. So hopefully they have a different game plan going into it this year. We'll see. And Zion, man, if you're all right, hey friends, sorry for the interruption, but I realized that I did what I always do here and I talked for way too long and realized that a 47-minute episode is probably too long for one video. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to parcel these up. This is the end of part one. Check out part two, yeah, right after this.